Welcome everybody to another marketing roundtable. Fantastic to see you guys. I've got a presentation to share today and going to run through a bit of an aha moment for me. We just had Mia who was talking about an aha moment for her, realizing that she's not a PT, she's actually a coach and valuing herself. I'm going to run you through an aha moment that I had a few years ago that has a fundamental change on what I do as well. So it's quite a nice warm up to this subject today. So let me just share the presentation and we'll go through it. It'd be great to see as many of you on camera as possible as we do this, and also welcome to everybody hitting this up on the replay. So as mentioned before, I've just come back from this magical kingdom yeah, it was great fun, really amazing, and they're doing their 50th anniversary of the Orlando resort that we went to, and it's just what they've done in a short space of time is amazing. So once you find your thing, like Walt Disney did, then the sky's the limit, because that business is an incredible business. And even just looking at it from a entrepreneur's perspective, they know how to charge and they know how to do things amazingly well there. So it was really interesting to kind of dive into that and also have a bit of a holiday. Who would have thought? 2 weeks, haven't had a 2-week holiday in a long time, so it's like nice. But today, what we're going to talk about, so part one, we're going to talk about what's your one thing, and then part two, we're going to be talking, taking questions about it and applying that back to you guys. Okay. So what is the one thing? Well, to start off with, the first thing that I kind of discovered this concept about one thing was the book, The One Thing. It's an amazing book. I read it and gobbled it up. It's by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Now, Gary Keller is a billionaire US property guy. They've got, I think it's something like Keller and Williams or whatever it is, who is the largest estate agency in the US, probably in the world. And he's done incredibly well off the back of it. Now, Jay Papasan is an author, and he co-wrote the book with him, and he kind of was the writer of it, and Gary Keller was the billionaire who kind of had a lot of these ideas, and together they put this One Thing book together. Now, I read it, gobbled it up, and then I actually went on one of their retreats. They do a couple goal setting retreat, which is amazing, in Austin, Texas. I did that 4 or 5 years ago with my wife Cara, which is great. So to actually go away as a couple and do this businessy stuff, that's exciting, because many of you on this call will probably realize that maybe you're the person that does the business stuff, and maybe your other half doesn't do the business bits or doesn't do a lot of this kind of self-improvement bits. That's kind of typical there. And to go away as a couple and do it was fantastic. We started to think about, well, what is our purpose? What is our goals? What do we want to achieve? And there's a few really interesting pieces that came out of that exercise. Now, that was hosted actually with Jay Papasan, and we got, we got very friendly with him and his wife, Wendy Papasan, and they're really, really inspiring. And so that kind of retreat brought a few things out that I want to share with you today. The first thing was this bit of a aha diagram, I guess, which is that kind of classic when you are going in multiple directions every single day. So from my perspective, I had multiple businesses. Within those businesses, I had multiple roles. I'm doing everything. You hear that when you go to these breakfast networking meetings and people get up and do their 60 seconds. They go, oh, hi, well, I probably have 2 hats, really. So today I've got this hat and tomorrow I do this. And if you are representing too many things, if you're doing too many things, you start the week like what happens on the left-hand side, and you try and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and shake your, and by the end of it, you're just split in multiple directions and you're going 1 inch forward, right? Whereas if you could drive all of that energy that you start every single week into one direction, really focus on one thing, then you're going to smash through it. You're going to keep on achieving, keep on getting further and further. And that was a very simplistic kind of aha moment for me, because at that point I was running 5 businesses. And those businesses, one was my marketing agency, Yom, which at that point was actually going through a potential offer that I was being given to sell the business. I was also radio presenter on BBC Surrey, and I was doing that, which is pretty full time to be able to do it. I had a boiler business which had 7 boiler servicing vans on the road. As again, both Yomp and boiler business, both £1 million businesses, lots and lots of headaches and stuff around that. And it's tough. You put so much energy into stuff, and even when you're at scale, it's still, is it as profitable or is it just high turnover? And that's one of the aha moments that I was starting to make. And a lot of people will hear me talk about the book Profit First, which really helped me to make those businesses profitable. And this also helped me to realize that running multiple of them is just having a massive detrimental effect on me and how I can actually drive things forward. I also had a separate marketing techie company called WPA, which basically helped people with their WordPress websites as well. So I took those 4 things. The radio thing I just kind of gave notice with the BBC, and I sold the other 3 businesses very quickly after going on this retreat, and put the money in the bank and really allow myself to then focus on my one thing. And that one thing was my $1 million sprint, helping entrepreneurs to be able to scale from some revenue to $1 million in revenue. Clearly, that's the thing that I've been really passionate about and have proven and done in the past. And there's a few interesting elements that I help clients to be able to do, such as finding their passion, finding their one thing, valuing what they do, and be able to make a scalable business model out of it. And so originally it was the lead gen academy that then became the $1 million sprint after we did a rebranding during the COVID period, and the $1 million sprint became my one thing. So finally now I've got one thing that I'm doing. But you can't just do one thing, because when you say, well, I've got a business now, okay, well, fine, there's, you also could find yourself as the accountant, the marketing person, the salesperson, etc. So actually, how do you go and approach your business as in a one thing methodology? Well, they talk about these dominoes, and you line up these dominoes are like little tasks. And if the end goal is, hey, I want to be able to scale to $1 million in revenue, for example, or I want to be able to, buy my house outright, or whatever it is, if that's the end goal, I want to be debt free, I want to be earning 10K a month, whatever the end goal is that you set, then you need to line those dominoes back to where you are now, to where you start. And then you push one down at a time. And so that energy, which was actually in one direction, that breaks down into multiple dominoes going into that one direction. And those multiple dominoes going into that one direction are small tasks that take you from where you are now to that end goal. And if you don't know what those dominoes are, or if those dominoes branching off in multiple directions, then they don't all get knocked down very easily, right? And so you've got to line those dominoes up and take it step by step, so you know what that first domino is. So I'm going to go loop back into that and actually apply that to how sales and marketing can work and what you can do about it in a second. There's a couple of other things that I thought was quite interesting that the book really made me to kind of analyze myself. And they talk about the lies of success. And one of the lies is multitasking. That's kind of clearly kind of outline that with this, people do more. Well, they do more, but actually are they doing the right stuff? They're just completing multiple tasks. So don't have multiple browsers open, don't do multiple tasks at a time. Line up your dominoes, work on one task at a time, finish it, work on the next one. I mean, that's kind of good business advice, but sometimes we need to rehear these things, don't we? The second thing is that everything matters equally, and that's not always right, is it? You kind of have that quadrant of what's important and urgent, top right, and what's unimportant and not urgent, bottom left. You can kind of start to think about what tasks are actually important, and actually should you even bother with some of it, right? So not every task matters equally, and sometimes you need to remove those tasks from your to-do list. Number 3 is a disciplined life. That concept of being having a disciplined life and having structure is just not as easy to be able to implement. We all know that we all get sidelined with big things, or we get issues, and yes, it's good to have some sort of structure and format to your day, but you got to kind of allow your flow of energy to work. And that was an interesting concept, because everybody sort of starts to say, well, you need to really format every single day and actually put together stuff in the right order and do this, that, and that, and then this and that. And actually, sometimes that just burns out, and actually allowing yourself, when you've got the energy and you're in flow, to allow your flow to work through and actually get tasks done. So that's quite an interesting thought from the book. Number 4 was willpower can be called at will. So when you go, well, I'm just going to, focus on this and get it done. It's like, willpower is a diminishing energy source. And so when you start off the day, you've got like 20 points of willpower. And by lunchtime, you've used up all of that willpower and you've got like 2 points of willpower. And so if you're trying to call in the willpower to go to the gym in the afternoon, you might not have any left because you've maxed out on that willpower. So his concept around that to say, oh yeah, you understand that you have only certain amounts of willpower in the day. And so if you need to go to the gym, make it the most important thing that you go do in the day. Or if, from my perspective, when I talk to my clients, say, well, you should be doing your $1 million hour, i.e. working your sales and marketing for 1 hour a day, make it one of the first hours you do in the day, because if you make it one of the first hours you do, then your willpower is high and you will actually do it. Whereas if you make it one of the last things in the day and you've used up all your willpower, you probably will just find something else to do, or watch cat videos on YouTube, or not actually focus on it, right? So that's really important to know. And the last thing is work-life balance. And work-life balance is a bit of a lie, because when Gary Keller, obviously done very successful, he says it's extremes. Really high performance people and successful people go from extremes. So they'll go to one extreme, such as I guess I could use my own example, as in I literally closed everything down, didn't touch my emails, barely took my laptop away to Disney, 2 weeks completely family, and you just go completely extreme there. And then there's other times where I'll go completely extreme, where I'm working every hours of the day to try and launch a new thing or to get a new module done for my clients. And then I'll be huge into work. And so actually work-life balance is more like a swinging pendulum. Like you are massive, like double down on work, and then you go massively on life. And that just happens to be one of the ways that high performance works, because it's extreme to extreme to extreme. You get more done then, as opposed to like little balances every single day. And that's just an observation. It may not be the right thing, but that's one of the things that they've come out, which I thought was interesting. Okay, so finally then, how do you create results? So the create results bit, they're talking about living with purpose, living with priority, and live with productivity. So once you know and you've got a purpose what you're doing, and you can prioritize those things, that's the dominoes, and you then live with productivity, i.e. you get the most important thing done every single day at the start of the day. So you're productive every single day, you know what you're doing every single day, and you've got a purpose, so you know where it's going to every day. Then that is the way that you create results. And they always say, ask the question. Number 4 is always ask the question, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And that's the kind of concept to find that lead domino. What's the one thing I can do today that helps me to get to my goal? What's the most important thing I can actually get done today? And that will really help you to find that, what they call the lead domino. So that's kind of the book and the bits that I took out of it. And how does that transpire? You can see how profit and productivity actually is above in the iceberg kind of concept. This is one of the diagrams from the book, and below it is that priority and purpose. So purpose and priority are the things that are the bigger, most important pieces that lead to productivity and profit. So I thought it was quite a nice graphic to kind of represent that. So now let's move that towards you guys. So I kind of took this concept and packaged it into my thoughts in terms of sales and marketing for businesses and for our clients. And I've shared this graphic a number of times on this marketing roundtable. I just wanted to show you how the power of one can really help. So your business should be focused on these areas. If you are going to be able to get people to be able to become aware of you, you need to have one thing, one real important lead activity that helps people to go, I now have seen Stuart. I know Stuart's been able to help me with leadership, and I'm now aware of Stuart, right? So some awareness piece. And then once someone's become aware of you, you need one thing to be able to pull them towards where they can actually consider, are you the type of leadership training company for me? So we talk about a consider event, and that's what, you know, a lot of my clients will talk about. Well, what's your weekly moment? What's the one thing you do every single week to be able to create a moment of consideration for your audience? How do people actually come and see you? You know, so if you've got awareness, what's your one social media channel? So where are you best at? Where do you get people to see you? Just do that. Because if you're trying to be on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, you're now creating that energy circle and you're going multiple directions. Whereas if you go, my audience, you know, 80-20 rule, 80% of my audience are most active on LinkedIn. I'm going to spend my life on LinkedIn. I'm going to get great at it. I'm going to start using LinkedIn groups. I'm going to start LinkedIn events. I'm going to start using direct message outreach on LinkedIn. I'm going to start to use all the cool little add-ons and software so you can automate LinkedIn. That then becomes a double down moment. You're like, bam, I'm now double downing. I'm now a guru at LinkedIn. I don't care what's happening on Instagram. I don't care what's, you know, TikTok. You know, like, do you know what I mean? How many business owners do I know at the moment that have gone, TikTok's amazing, you've got to be on TikTok? I was like, you are an accountant. Why are you what are you dancing the funky chicken all over the balance sheets? Like what you like, come on. Do you know what I mean? So be sensible and think about the 80-20 rule, and to think about the one platform you're on. That's where you can gain awareness. That's where your market will see you. Then have that one weekly moment, the crescendo of your week, the thing that you focus people in. You guys are part of my weekly moment. I bring everybody into my marketing roundtable. That's where we can build relationships and see each other. I can spend a bit more time with you guys. Then have one convert event. So what's the thing that you're driving people into that's your sales process, right? So do you offer a strategy session? Do you offer a free coaching session? Do you do a free trial? One of our mentors on the $1 Million Sprint, Anthony Steers, who's the telephone assassin. We love him. He coaches a lot of our clients on helping them to convert more sales. He talks about having a test drive. So what are you giving to people as your test drive? I.e., can they do a 40-minute free coaching session, as I mentioned, or could you be doing some other way of them testing your product before buying? So it's that convert bit. What are you driving people towards? And so, you know, it could be a strategy session, right? And so then once you convert them, then you want to have your one product. We talk about what are you selling? Is it that flagship product? You should have one product that you sell, because if you sell one product, then you could be awesome and have a world-class product. It is not multiple solutions, it's the solution to someone's pain. And so don't buzz around going, well, I've got a bronze, silver, and a gold, and I've also got this retainer thing, and I've got a special retreat here, and I've got this thing here, and all the rest of it. Like, you know, now you've got 20 different deliverables, right? So let's just break that down. If you have a bronze, silver, and gold product, and you also have a small one at the start, and also then you have a big retainer thing at the end, right? That's 5 products. 5 products need 5 different onboarding sequences. And that's what we call delight. Delight is an onboarding and getting people the first result piece, right? So that's the first bit of the bottom circle, the flagship product circle, right? And so if you've got 5 different products, you need 5 different delight moments, 5 different onboarding sequences, 5 different things. That's just to get people in and get them winning, right? And then once they get their first win, you need to gamify those products to be able to keep people winning, because if people win at your product, they're going to, be really happy, right? And continue the happy and then keep on succeeding, right? And successful clients make you successful. They stay longer, right? So the gamification. So if you had 5 products, you now need 5 different games of people winning, and obviously gamification is a tough thing to get right? So now you've got 5 onboarding sequences, 5 gamifications, and you thought this was a good idea to do bronze, silver, and gold, right? It's not. Have one, get it awesome, right? And then of course, when people are delighted and are winning at your game, then what happens? They become advocates, and advocates then will tell other people about you. and why they love you. And so therefore you get more clients, and they kind of cycles back into the top of the funnel, and you start to win more clients, right? And of course, when people are advocates and telling people how they love you, then they're putting their name to your business. Of course, then they're going to stay around longer, aren't they? So then it becomes a sticky product, and then they keep on swimming around the delight, gamify, advocate piece at the bottom, right? So by having multiple products, you're going to have multiple circles, like the circle at the bottom, and then that breaks the beautiful 1-1-1-1-1. So one piece of awareness, which social media channel are you getting leads from? One consideration, what's your weekly moment? One convert, what's the one thing you ask people? What's the call to action at your consideration event? One amazing onboarding sequence for one product. One gamification of that product to be able to help your clients win, and one advocacy or partner scheme. What do you give to people when they refer? You know, we have a £250 referral fee for any client that refers us stuff within our business, and then we've gamified that to say, if you give us 5 referrals, then we bump that up to 500 quid a referral, right? So you can start to work these things. But why could we work that depth in our advocacy program with our clients? Is because we've only got one advocacy program, and so therefore we get to improve and iterate and make it better. So that's how a business, genuinely business, all the way from people not knowing you to people becoming your absolute fans and advocates, that's how any small business should work, right? And that's what you should be putting together. How do you start to break that down? Well, this is the type of diagram that we start to put together with clients. This is, excuse me, a client of ours, Mary, and Mary's one place that she likes to be able to work on is LinkedIn. So we start to think about, well, what type of LinkedIn activity should Mary be doing? And so therefore we start to look at, well, it's going to be LinkedIn outreach, and it's going to be LinkedIn organic. What is she going to do on LinkedIn organic? Well, she might post one video a week, you know, whatever it might be. Then where is she going to push people back to? Well, it's going to be this educational event. You know, how is she going to invite people to that? Well, she's got this email sequence. You know, then she does the event. How does she do it on Zoom? What's her call to action, a strategy session? How does she remind people? She's got these text messages, these follow-up emails, follow-up phone calls. And then once they do the strategy session, where do they send them? Send them to the one landing page to sell the product, to be able to create a decision call to see what people are going to decide upon, to then sign contracts, right? So you break this down into a diagram, and then that becomes the process. That becomes what you've got to achieve to be able to make that lovely little, you know, diagram on the previous page, to make this into actually a thing. And then how do you go about creating this? What's your lead domino? Well, Mary's going to start on the left, and she's going to start to create some noise on LinkedIn. And then once she's created some noise on LinkedIn, she's going to then start running a weekly moment. And then how is she going to get people to moment? Well, she's going to start doing email campaigns. And then what's her call to action? Well, then only after she's doing this educational event is she going to be able to do a call to action to a strategy session. And only after she's done a strategy session, she's going to be able to put people into landing pages. She's going to do that next. Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to have this whole thing perfectly done. My clients start off by getting their LinkedIn smashing. If that is their platform, it could be Facebook as their platform. They're going to get their LinkedIn smashing, and then they're going to work all their cross. I've got clients that sell their flagship product before they built the flagship product. In fact, we advise that, because what happens when you build a flagship product is when you, let me just stop share. Let me have a look at you lovely people. When you build out, when you build out that flagship product, then you'll know what the contents is of what you want to deliver. If you're a coach, for example, or if you're a marketing agency, you'll know what type of stuff that you're going to do for someone, or whatever the example is. You know it, and therefore you then just build it as the train goes down the track. You lay the track as the train goes down it. So I tell people, so let's picture yourself as a coach. I tell people, if you're a coach, think, it could be business coach, could be life coach, could be PT. Think about your flagship product as your book, and your book has a contents page, and your contents page goes from intro into, you know, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, until the end bit, which is the conclusion of how they get the result. And the conclusion is, this is how you get the win that this book's all about. And the start is how I came across the aha moment of how this happens, right? So you then put that together as a chapter of the book, and then you then move that as a nice long line that goes from start to result. And you then build chapter 1 of your training program. and you do that with your clients one-to-one to start off with. And then as they're doing that first week, you're then building the second week. As they're doing the second week, you're doing the third week, you build, until they get result. So your first 2 to 3 clients on your flagship program, you do as, one-to-one, and you build just ahead of them and you iterate. And then after you get really successful there, then you can make that into a group program. And now you've got a highly scalable, profitable group accelerator, and you're absolutely flipping out the park. So that, my friends, is the one thing. And I think sometimes when it could be a presentation that you listen to, could be a podcast you listen to, could be a book you read, but sometimes here, the advice that you're consuming and can keep on consuming advice and really hear it and apply it. And like I did, everybody, I just come out I was on The Apprentice, on BBC Apprentice with Lord Sugar. I came out, I was like, opportunities everywhere. I'm going to have this business. I'm going to go on radio. I'm going to do this, bam, bam, bam. And I ended up with what people would perceive on the outside as a highly successful, clever play. And what happened on the inside was incredible amounts of stress and unproductivity from my side, and not as profitable as just the one business that I run today. And that was amazing aha moment for me. So see and hear and feel this advice when it comes, wherever it might come from, and really analyze, are you doing the things that are going to make you happier, give you time, money, and freedom? And that's all the most important things I think are out there when you think about business. Cool. Lovely. Thank you. I see hands up already. So thank you so much for hearing that. But I'm going to take questions now. And yeah, let's vibe a bit about this. Stuart, over to you.
Morning, Richard. Just quickly, I'm pleased you made the analogy of the book in terms of the process that you take your clients through. My question is, if you have a group session and everyone's kind of joining at different stages of the journey, how do you manage that as a sequence? Because obviously, if you've got to go through stages 1 and 2 to get to 3, and somebody joins at 3, that they're kind of out of sync with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's a beautiful thing, and thank you. You're teeing up a lovely demonstration. So I'm going to jump on my whiteboard now and just go through it. And it's going to load up. I'll share it in a second. Come on. Microsoft Whiteboard is always very slow. So the point is that you want to have an evergreen. The issue with, let's go select one of these. Oh, come on, Microsoft Whiteboard. Can we see the whiteboard loading at the moment? I am sharing. Right, okay, good stuff. Okay. Oh, here's one I made earlier. Let me just get rid of this. Oh, I hate it when they make an update to a software that you use all the time. It's one of the most annoying things. How do I delete this? I don't even know how to delete it, so I'm just going to go into here and do it. Okay. So cohorts are, I think, one of the most unscalable models for a business when you're going in. The reason why is that the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, come on, sorry about this, gang. How can I change this? Right, got to pick a white pen. Right, good. Okay, right. So cohorts are completely unscalable in my opinion, because if you're a big entrepreneur that has got thousands of people that want to work with you, great. You say I've got a 50-person cohort, and you go and sell 50 people. That's great. You run that cohort, and that's fine. You've hit 100% the target, and we are rocking and rolling, right? So then you can go and wait. You can run your cohort, and then in 2 months' time, you can go sell another 50 without even thinking about it, and happy days, right? So you'll always hit 100% of target. The issue is a lot of clients that when they're just first starting out, they go, right, what I'll do is I'll put 20 people into my cohort and I'll go sell it, and then we'll run the cohort. The issue is that they sell 7 people and no, they don't get their 20 people. And so now they only got, kind of 14% of target or whatever it is. And their income can't sell anything until another quarter, and then they're going to have to go again, right? So then their income is just so much lower than they hoped for and expected. So we think cohorts are not the right route for it. We think that actually if you can have an evergreen accelerator, it's the best way to do it. And so how do you do that? Because Stuart's saying, well, actually, people are going to be in different places, right? So if you've got your online piece, right? So you go and package up all that content. You talk about week 1, you do this, week 2, you do this, week 3, you do that, right? So you can package up that content into a program that's got online training modules and courses, swipe files, help for people to be able to do. Because also people want to do things in the evenings, etc. They don't want to have to wait for your 1 weekly call or whatever a lot of other accelerators do. So you onboard people one-to-one. So you do a one-to-one onboarding and you say, right, Dave, we want to do this. This is your plan, right? So you do an individual plan for them and you say you want to do stage 1 and then stage 3 because actually you don't need to do stage 2. So you've now tailored the plan to them. And so then they are going through this and doing this. Now, that's how they consume the content. But of course, nobody wants online courses anymore. They're boring and we've done too many of them, right? So you've got to do a hybrid model. So we say then instead of your weekly training for a cohort, do drop-in clinics. Maybe you do 3 drop-in clinics. Maybe you do a drop-in clinic on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? They're just 1 hour, okay? So now we can have a 50-person cohort, but actually we're only delivering 3 hours per week. Because they're drop-in clinics. So what happens is your cohort go along, they do these bits and they go, I've just got stuck on this. All right, I'll drop in on Wednesday. I'll have a chat with Stuart and he can go and put me right. And then you can say, right, you need to do this and this, and then go look at this module and then come see me on Friday. Let me know how you got on. But also when you turn up on Wednesday, you're saying, oh, that's cool because you've just seen John here and you've seen Mia. And it's really interesting because Mia's just ahead of you and she's doing this, this, and this, and she's smashing it. And you're really looking forward to jumping onto that module when you do it because, you've seen the results that Mia getting. At the same time, John's come on, who's a newbie, and he's asked an interesting question. And actually, you've gone and given John some feedback from your anecdote because you're just going through the process at the same time. And we all go to these gurus that who did what we were doing, but they did it so many years ago that actually they can't remember the knocks they got. Whereas people being on that same drop-in clinic will be able to reiterate the knocks that they're getting. And so it gives a really nice community-based help. So 3 hours of drop-in clinics and the online modules. And then of course, the final thing that we would say is to have a community. And the community underneath means that this is your training program, but these are drop-in clinics. So you just put your recordings of your drop-in clinics into the community, not into the training program, so people can rewatch it, say a Facebook group, but also people can continue to add questions, share wins, network with each other in the community. So you're creating this moment where you're giving leadership, which is basically an online course, but you're also offering community, which is how people are kind of peer-to-peer. You're also giving someone routine. So you're giving them 3 drop-in clinics a day. You're showing them how to actually win. So they're making a habit of working with you. And also you're being able to personalize the advice. So it's not just an online course or a video. You can personalize training and be able to give them a personalized experience at the start, and also ask them questions there. So this is the kind of leadership community personalization and routine that we see as being what we call the $1 million audience shift. So if you can give people that, then they're smashing it out of the park because they're making a habit of winning on your course. And the final thing that sits around this is accountability. You need to have accountability at every single piece. You need to have accountability for them to actually do the stuff. That's leadership. The accountability for them to show up and be part of the community. So that's held there. You need to have accountability for them to routinely drop in, and you need to accountability for them to actually ask questions. So how do you do all of that accountability in one very easy, streamlined way? Well, we call it the 3 things Monday. So on Monday, you put into your community, what's the 3 things you're going to achieve today? That allows them to actually share with the group what they're going to do. And then you can then go and help and edit and say, actually, 1 and 2 is awesome, but shouldn't number 3, isn't 3 off-piste? Shouldn't you be thinking more on this? So you can give leadership there. And of course, you ask them every single week, it's routine. And of course, the personalization is you'll be able to ask them, and the community can see it. And leadership is because they are saying, I'm going to do this, this, and this, right? But then you can check in with them and call it a Momentum Wednesday. And on Wednesday, you say, well, how are you getting on with those 3 things? So now you're keeping the accountability, you're putting the finger on the pulse for your clients. And then they go, yeah, I've got 1 and 2 done, I have got number 3 done. And then, of course, you can then help them to win. So this is the gamification by having a Finishers Club Friday. And so Finishers Club Friday is like, hey, did you get your 3 things done? And then we can celebrate together winning. So it's micro wins within a community-based structure. Honestly, that 3 Thing Monday thing is gold dust. I mean, it's all gold dust, Stuart, for God's sake. It's honestly, there's gold in them there diagrams.
I don't know why I don't change your name to Richard Gold.
Richard Gold Woods. Yeah. But seriously, guys, so it's about the scalability of something with real theory around it and understanding humans and habits around it. Look, I'm going to take these. I've got John, Leslie. I'm going to take further questions, but before I take further questions, and just before we kind of have the quarter two, which is normally where I wrap up, I am going to stay for another 10 minutes. I just want to say I offer, if anybody's interested in learning how they can do this in their business, I offer a strategy session. Now, I only have one of these a week that I'm doing at the moment because I've put this into my diary, and I do a strategy session. It's a group session to look at exactly how the $1 Million Sprint works. This is the website $1 Million Sprint, and this is the free strategy session here. I'm going to drop this into the chat now. You see that you click on this button, which says free strategy session, and it goes to my strategy session here. Now you've got 1, 2, 3. So Wednesday. So it's always each Wednesday after this session, not directly after the session, but at 12:30. Okay. So it's kind of like a lunch and learn. And we're going to be talking about you and your business. So where are you now? Where do you want to be? And actually, how can you make that system work? How can you bring that awareness, consider, convert, delight, gamify, and advocacy into your business? And we'll be specifically looking at that. It's a smaller session. It's interactive. It's a lot more about you. And so we're going to do that at 12:30. And then I'll explore if the $1 Million Sprint's right for you. The $1 Million Sprint is an accelerator, and it helps clients go from some revenue to $1 million in revenue. We try and do that over a systematic approach in 12 months, right? So that is right for you. Not everybody wants to go all the way to $1 million, by the way. That's okay. It's worth turning up and exploring that. So I've got spaces left. They're limited spaces left on today's session. So if you jump into that, or next Wednesday, etc. at 12:30. So let me just stick that into the chat. And if you're just watching it on the replay, you can check that out. So let me just get rid of that month bit. There you go. So it's in the chat now. And if you're watching on the replay, it's really, really easy because you just jump onto my website, free strategy session there. And then from there, you hit the magic orange button. It takes you into that diary. Okay. So cool. Looking forward to seeing you guys there this morning, this afternoon, even, or next week. Okay, cool. As I said, I'm going to stick around for another 10 minutes. So John, over to you.
Okay, 2 questions. I'm in a busy coffee shop. 2 questions, actually. First of all, where is your quick win? How does that fit in to your process?
The quick win?
Yeah.
So when you say quick win, do you mean what in the delight piece?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you onboard people into your program, you've got to think about how can they get a bit of success to start off with, because when someone gets success, then they keep on doing more and more of what works. So then they get more success. So we have some really quick ways of people being able to get leads very quickly and therefore convert those leads into sales, because we believe that people that join us need to get sales quickly. And so therefore we optimize that onboarding and first month to be able to get a new client or 2 very quickly. And so that's part of our methodology. It's part of our ethos. We don't shy away from that. We really go into it, right? And so that's the piece that we want to really work on.
Yeah, I missed. Sorry, I was misunderstanding, because I thought that a quick win was like one of your early, like a freebie giveaway type thing, or lead magnet of some kind. So that's not what that is.
well, that should be your consideration. So you could be doing that every single week. So if you're doing a consideration event every week, then that's the piece that you want to be doing.
Right. So that's like your weekly moment, like you're doing right now.
Yeah. So if you can help people to get wins each week, then that's the thing, you know. So consideration is going, oh, is this advice good? Am I taking stuff away from this? Do I want to go and explore if I want to work upon this a bit more often? You know, is this right for me? So that's
Oh, also, just as a sort of follow-up from that, while you were talking about doing the sort of Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday things, I was thinking actually that could work for like a gold, silver, bronze within the program. So you don't need to talk about it. You just say there's like a lower cost version where you just get one session per week, and then you get like a gold session where you get 3 sessions per week. How would you feel? How do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's you're basically going to be starting to price on what a session costs. So if your cost of 1 session a week is 500 quid, 2 sessions is 750, and 3 sessions a week is 1,000, then you've just told me how much your cost per hour is, and then I'm working out how much you're worth per hour. Whereas if you go, actually, the best way for someone to do this work is to see me twice a week, and that is the cost is this, then that is the best frequency for someone to achieve a result, the best, the right price for it, and that is the thing. So now everybody does the same amount and does everybody in the same order. Are you coming in on this, Mia?
Yeah, I was actually saying I was literally going through, this is my base package and these are my add-ons, and they were different increasing add-ons. And with what you've said, I'm just going to literally go, this is it. It's going to include everything. You're buying everything. Because and then I just have to sell that one thing. People will say either yes or no to it.
People want the result, right? So if I go, so if someone works for me who joins the $1 Million Sprint, they're expecting to be able to grow their business, right? That's the result. They want to be able to go, to $1 million or want to, double, triple their business, right? So that's why people work with me. So if someone buys my bronze, they expect to do that. If someone buys my gold, they expect to do that, right? So they are all still buying the same result. It's just some people bought the less expensive version of that result, and but they still want the same result. So why have everybody is going to expect you to deliver them that one thing? So just have the one price, and then everybody is the one thing, and then it just allows you to have the same onboarding. All clients are equal. All clients run through the same systems. Your team then deliver, when you start to build a team, deliver the same thing over and over again. It's cookie cutter. And so the je ne sais quoi of what you do can be you, and because you can be really present instead of going, oh no, actually that person only bought the bronze, so I can't really spend the same amount of time that I can spend on this person because they're a gold. It's like just flatten the structure. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to take Leslie's question, and then I'm going to come back, and then we'll close. So Leslie, over to you.
Hi, Richard. Hi. Yeah, so I have a group program, but I also have clients who ask to work one-to-one. So that's not, is that one thing? It's the same thing, but it's 2 different ways of doing it. What do you think? Yeah,
because you'll charge less for the group and more for the one-to-one. So the reason why one-to-one's a really bad thing, and you should get rid of it, is that if I told you you've got 10 one-to-one clients, are you full? Yeah, that's it. So you now have a cap on your business. So by having, and also though, and how many times are they going to see you each month?
Oh, like one-to-one? Well, that'd be 4 times a month.
So that's 40 hours that you're spending on just 10 people, right? And so yes, it'll be lucrative, but actually, what if you had 100 people paying you, a lot of my clients, by the way, find what they were charging for the one-to-one, actually, they ultimately start charging for their group program as well. And so what they, if not more, what they then start to do is they go, well, actually, I could have 100 clients paying me, $597 a month or whatever it is. So it's not massively expensive, but it's good money. And I can still deliver that. So 100 clients, you wouldn't be doing 3 drop-in sessions a week. You'd be doing 1 a day. So 5 drop-in sessions a week. But why? Because that's what clients do. That's how you can manage it. Not everybody goes through a drop-in session, right? So in that scalable model, you could have a business that is turning over, best part of $1 million in revenue, because 100, I'll show you how that works. If you go, if you do, come on, so 597 times by 12 months equals that, times by 100 clients. Oh, hello, come on, where's the thing gone? 100 clients equals 716. So if you actually worked that number and made it not pounds, made it dollars, then you find out it's $1 million business, right? So the equivalent. So the $1 million sprint usually is about trying to find 100 clients at 597 a month. If people are going up there now, people go, well, actually, how quirky, finding that's difficult. Well, actually, we talk about 30-25-2. What do we mean by 30-25-2? Well, if you get 30 people registering for your weekly moment each week, about 20 people will show up. If you get 20 people show up, you should be able to get 5 people booking into your strategy session. If you get 5 people booking strategy session, you should get 2 sales, 30-25-2. You get 2 sales a week, 52 weeks, there you go, 100 clients in a year, right? $1 million business. And so it's a rhythm. It's about having systems and processes that push that out and having a scalable business that can actually genuinely give people a really personalized experience and really tailored learning and results quickly, but within a scalable accelerator, where one-to-one, it's impossible to get anywhere near those numbers that I talked about. Does that help?
I'm finding it quite difficult to get that number of people onto the group program. And what's the cost? What's the fees and things is all very difficult to work out. I'm finding.
Yeah. That's just around. Well, that's the sort of things that I could run through with you on the session this afternoon. But it's just around, actually, lots of people make the mistake of, people buy the results to sell the result. So what's the one thing that you help them to do? And so once they know that result, well, actually, what's that result worth to them? So you kind of work out, actually, because it might be untangible things, like people have, some of our clients are personal development stuff. So it's not a actual financial money. It's how happy do they feel, or how less stressed are they? And so once you can put some sort of data around that tangible result, then you sell the result and you put that result at the top of the mountain and you work back, and there might be 5 different steps to be able to get from where they are now to the top of the mountain. And that's the journey. That's your accelerator. That's the reason why they'll pay the money and work with you. And so therefore you go from where they are now to that result. That becomes the accelerator. The result's worth them spending the money. And so therefore they'll buy the result, buy the product.
Makes sense.
Cool. Look, I'd love to see you guys. Thank you, by the way, to the people that have signed up already. I've already had a couple of pings on the phone of people that jumped onto the call today. So do jump on there. Again, I'll stick a final link into the chat there with the strategy session link. So jump onto there, click it now. But thank you all for joining me. And if I don't see you on one of those sessions, I look forward to seeing you next week at 9 o'clock at the Marketing Roundtable. So good to see you. Really appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. Bye.